Hi, I'm Beata Faracik, and I'm a coordination committee member of the OECD Watch. I will be introducing you to the human rights due diligence process under the OECD Guidelines for Multinational Enterprises and its associated due diligence guidelines. The OECD Guidelines are recommendations from OECD governments to multinational enterprises on responsible business conduct, while OECD Due Diligence Guidance is a guiding document from the OECD providing practical support to businesses in the implementation of the due diligence recommendations in the OECD Guidelines for Multinational Enterprises. So what is due diligence? The OECD Due Diligence Guidance states that due diligence is a process that enterprises should carry out to identify, prevent, mitigate, and account for how they address those actual and potential adverse impacts in their own operations, their supply chain, and other business relationships. The scope of due diligence guidance is very broad. It is applicable to all businesses that operate or are based in a country which is adhering to the guidelines. This is true regardless of the ownership structure, sector, or size of the company. It also includes all the entities within the business group, whether it is a parent or a subsidiary company. It also includes any business that might not have caused the harm directly, but have only contributed to it or is linked to it. The guidance also covers all types of business relationships. This can include any entity or entities that are linked to its business operations, products, or services. For example, suppliers, franchisees, licensees, joint ventures, investors, clients, but also contractors, customers, consultants, advisors, among others. The harms that the due diligence guidance cover are also diverse, such as human rights harms, labor rights harms, and environmental harms. The due diligence process contains 6 steps in total. It starts with step 1, that asks a business to embed responsible business conduct into their policies and management systems. Step 2 involves identifying and assessing adverse impacts, such as human rights or environmental impacts in their operations, supply chains, and business relationships. Step 3 involves stopping activities that are causing or contributing to adverse impacts. It also involves implementing plans that seek to prevent or mitigate impacts, which are directly linked to the enterprise. Step 4 involves tracking the implementation and results of due diligence conducted by the enterprise. Step 5 involves the business communicating how its impacts are addressed. Examples of such communication can include communicating with stakeholders, publishing information on their due diligence process, and publicly reporting such information, which is relevant to its due diligence process and policies on responsible business conduct. Finally, step 6 makes it important for the business to provide for or cooperate in remediation when it's appropriate. And it is appropriate for a company to engage in remediation when it has identified, through its own due diligence process, that it has caused or contributed to actual adverse impacts. Examples of remedy can include legal processes such as prosecution, litigation, and arbitration, non-judicial state-based mechanisms such as specialist government bodies, consumer protection agencies, regulatory oversight bodies, national contact points created under the OECD guidelines, among others. It is important to remember, though, that the primary purpose of carrying out due diligence is to prevent or avoid causing or contributing to any kind of adverse impacts. Thus, the due diligence process must be tailored to the circumstances of an enterprise, such as its size, operations, business model, its position in the supply chain, and the very nature of its products and services. It should be also tailored to the traits and needs which are specific to the impacted stakeholders. It should be based on the specific risks identified by the company in its due diligence process, and that means that due diligence conducted by the company should be proportionate to the severity and likelihood of the identified impacts. Due diligence has to be an ongoing, responsive, and changing process. It is not simply a one-off exercise. And so a due diligence process should be informed by engagement with the impacted stakeholders. And very importantly, a due diligence process does not shift responsibilities away from the entity which is causing the harm. Given specific context of various sectors, the OECD has published 5 sector-specific due diligence guidance documents. These sectors include the extractive sector, the financial sector, agriculture one, as well as the mineral sector and the garment sector. These sector-specific guidance documents elaborate on the due diligence provisions contained in the more general OECD guidelines and tailor the 6 steps of due diligence to companies operating in those sectors. They provide practical tips for companies and stakeholders in these sectors about the common understandings of due diligence guidance for responsible business conduct, build supply chain resilience, manage uncertainty, and build long-term value. For more information, please visit our website, oecdwatch.org.